Welcome to Beyond the Shelf. I'm Dawn.
I'm Jenny.
And what is it, April now?
It is. Oh, my goodness.
This year is going along.
It is flying by. Yeah, so today we're going to continue on talking about America and some states. We have gotten 5 responses this month from different states, kind of all close clustered together. I don't know.
Is this still New England?
I don't think New York is considered New England. Pennsylvania is not.
Right.
I don't know.
Is Pennsylvania part of the Midwest?
How?
The
if you
Eastern
look at the state,
Midwest?
I don't understand how these divisions work. That should have been a podcast on its own. Somebody explain to us what all that means, because I don't get it.
No, I'm with you.
The first library that I'm going to talk about is in Canton, Connecticut.
Ooh.
And I contacted them because, well, their name is Canton, and
we
I've
have
been
one
to
of
Canton,
those.
Ohio. Yeah. She was funny, though. The lady I talked to was Sarah McCusker, and she said that they get so many calls for Canton, Ohio, Canton, Michigan, and Canton, Massachusetts, that they actually have all the phone numbers at their circulation desk, so they can refer the people to the right library.
Okay, that's smart, and we should do that.
Well, the only one we really get calls for that is similar to us is Oroville, California, and we have to contact them. That has to be the library we talk to in California.
Yeah, but I've gotten calls for Orville that's in Canada, that's almost directly north of us.
Oh, really?
And there's also an Orville in Alabama, but I don't know that they have a library.
Okay.
But that it's always funny to get those calls.
Yeah.
Because the people on the other end were like, "Are you in Ohio?" And they're like, No,
and I want to come to this program. You need to help me. We're like, we can't register you for a program in California. Oh. Yeah.
It's Canton, Connecticut. Okay.
Yes, Canton, Connecticut. And I stole a little bit of Sarah's thunder because her favorite historical anecdote about Connecticut is that they were the home of the first phone book. And I shared that when we talked about America in general.
Oh, okay.
She's like, you stole that. But
you stole it.
Yeah. But she said that's okay. So where they live, they have a company called the Collins Company. And Collinsville was their largest village within Canton, and it's celebrating its 200th anniversary today. It's their biggest thing that they're known for. They manufacture axes and machetes, and they sold the pikes that were used in John Brown's raid at Harper's Ferry in 1859. Their tools were used so much in foreign markets that in South America, Collins was actually a slang word for machete. I thought that was kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So
in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay.
From Connecticut down to South America. She said that their biggest claim to fame is the Collins manufacturer, but then they have Arthur Fromer's budget travel magazine named Collinsville one of the 10 coolest small towns in America several years ago.
So they're officially cool.
Yes. She said the Economic Development Commission will never get tired of that one.
They're so cool.
They're very, very proud of that. She has been the library director, let's see, I think she was hired about 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So before she was hired, the library director was Peg Perry, and she was Katharine Hepburn's youngest sister at the Canton, Connecticut library.
Oh.
And she said she died shortly before Sarah was hired, but she says she hears stories about her all the time. And she said that it's rumored that there is a full-length mirror in their staff break room that came from Katharine Hepburn's home. She said, doesn't know if it's true or not. She said, but whenever you stand in front of that mirror, it makes you look very tall and beautiful. So she could be.
I was going to say.
There's a little bit of Katharine Hepburn magic sprinkled in there.
Yes, I love it.
I love that too. She said that despite being between Boston and New York, Connecticut had very few large battles during the Revolution. So they were not known for that. They were, I don't know, more like Switzerland maybe. Yes, I don't know. But she said there are a million places that like to claim fame that George Washington slept here. And she said if she slept in all the places that Connecticut says he slept, the man would have never slept in his own home. He would have only been sleeping in Connecticut. So she's not really sure exactly how many are official places where George Washington slept. So if you go to Connecticut and somebody says George Washington slept here, take that with a grain of salt.
Was it the President George Washington or just some guy?
Oh, yeah, it should be just somebody named George. She said that they are home to the Pez Museum. I know.
That's so cool.
I know. They have the nation's oldest art museum, and it's called the Wadsworth Athenaeum. Athenaeum. Athenaeum.
Okay.
I tried to say it. But anyhow, it's Wadsworth, so I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. It's the oldest continuously published newspaper in the United States, and it's called the Hartford Courant. So they have some cool things. Mm-hmm. New Haven is not only the birthplace of the phone book, it is also the birthplace, and this to me is much more fascinating, of the hamburger.
New Haven, Connecticut, home of the hamburger.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Yeah. And
do you think George Washington slept there?
On the hamburger buns.
In between the buns.
Yeah. They also have Lake Compounce. It's the nation's oldest continuously operating amusement park. She says she only lives 10 minutes from there, but it's never visited.
That's like one of those things, though, where you have the thing. Yeah, mm-hmm. But you never go there. Sure.
And she said, and these are cool, the submarine and the helicopter were both invented there as well.
In New Haven?
Well, she just says Connecticut.
In Connecticut.
She didn't say exactly where. So, yeah, those are some really fun facts, I think, from the Canton Public Library. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate that. We haven't gotten a library card from them yet. I'm sure that we will soon.
For sure.
Pretty sure we sent one to them. So,
yeah,
that was fun. So, where are you taking us on our little journey?
Well, I've got 2 new states, New York and New Jersey. Okay. So, let's start with New York. So, fun story about this library. I'm going to talk about the East Northport Public Library. So these are kind of their own, like it's a branch situation in Northport and East Northport. But somebody who works there, her name is Catherine Heaviside, actually reached out to us last year. Mm-hmm. Because she was doing this whole project where she was getting library cards from all over the world. Like, not just the U.S. like we are, but everywhere.
Wow.
She said that the libraries in Ireland were, like, loving this. And so she got lots of library cards from them. There's actually a couple of...
2027, we're going to explore libraries in other countries.
In the whole world? Okay. Yeah. So we sent her one of our library cards, which was great because last year we celebrated our 100th anniversary. Mm-hmm. So she got one of our new ones. And she sent us 3 library cards from the East Northport Public Library because they do different colored cards for different ages. So we have a children's, a teen, and an adult card. They're different colors, but my favorite part is that they have different authors on them. So the children's one has Beverly Cleary, the teen one has David Copperfield, and the adult one has Kristen Hanna.
Perfect.
So I thought that was super fun. And when we needed a library, I was like, hey, Wendy, who's that person from New York you talked to? And I asked her, I was like, do you have any tips for how do we get, some libraries to interact with us? And she was just like, be so persistent and annoying and just reach out to way more than you think you need to. Mm-hmm. So that was Catherine's advice. And then she sent me an email, with a PDF. So there's quite a bit of information about Northport, New York and East Northport. So Northport.
So is that 2 separate towns?
They are, yeah.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
All right.
So Northport is a village located on the north shore of Long Island. It's within the county of Suffolk and the town of Huntington. The library also services the village of the New York names. Asherocken, I'm going to say.
Okay.
And the hamlet of Eaton's Neck and hamlet of East Northport. So there's quite a few little towns in the area that they service, I guess. The history of their library is that it began in 1880 with the founding of the Northport Literary and Social Union.
Oh, sounds very
posh,
hoity-toity.
Right? It was in the basement of a Presbyterian church. The Northport Public Library was a Carnegie library and received its charter from the state of New York in 1914. And then East Northport Public Library opened as a branch in 1940. So that's kind of their library getting started. So Asherocken is named after a chief, but it is an isthmus. I hate saying that word.
Oh, yeah.
Connecting the village of Northport to Eaton's Neck. So, a little geography. The village is named after a chief who was head of the Matinacock Native American tribe, which, we all have like Cuyahoga in our area. We have, those native tribes that we...
In Erie.
Yeah, that we honor with naming different places
and that's
after.
Why Cleveland was Cleveland Indians for a long time. It was actually an honor. It wasn't to belittle. Anyhow. That's just a soapbox I don't need to get on right now.
So the Northport Library has a connection to Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who wrote The Little Prince. He's celebrated with that book. I read that book in French class in high school in French.
Awesome.
So, not that I remember any of that. That was a long time ago. The book was written during the fall and winter of 1942 in the Bevan House on Eaton's Neck. So in September 2006, to commemorate the internationally loved classic of The Little Prince, the library unveiled a 4-foot-tall bronze statue of the Little Prince in their courtyard.
Cute.
Which is cute. I wonder if it looks like the cover that has like the moon and the little prince standing on there.
Just a little 4-foot statue.
Just a little guy.
Yeah.
In 1997, the comedy film In and Out was featured significantly in that movie. It served as a setting for this fictional town called Greenleaf. So in that movie was Kevin Kline, Joan Cusack, and Tom Selleck.
Okay.
So they had a movie shot there. This is so great. So there is a nationally ranked race held annually in Northport. It's recognized as Runner's World's top 100 races, and it is called the Great Cow Harbor 10K.
Okay.
So it's a community-wide celebration they have called Cow Harbor Weekend. And in 2027, the Cow Harbor Run will celebrate its 50th anniversary.
Cool. We should go.
Yeah, let's go to the Cow Harbor Run.
And again, listeners, call into the library.
They also have a connection to Jack Kerouac. We know him, American novelist, poet. He lived in Northport during the late 50s and early 60s, so the library has a large and unique Kerouac collection, including oral history interview with him.
Oh, fun.
Which is fun. And then the other thing that I thought we could connect with is that Kenny Atkinson is a Northport, New York native, and he is the current head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cool.
He was
I didn't know.
named the NBA Coach of the Year in 2024-25 season. So he was also an assistant coach with the Clippers and the Warriors and some other teams, but more importantly, the Cavs.
Always more important.
Right.
Ohio. We always got to bring it back to Ohio.
We always have to bring it back to Ohio. So that's a big thank you to Catherine at the East Northport Public Library in New York.
That is such a mouthful, isn't it?
Isn't it, though? That's why I think they just shorten it to NENPL.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about Millsboro, Delaware. It's the Millsboro Public Library. Anthony Connolly reached out to me. He has a PhD.
Oh, my.
He is the clerk and media relations person at their library. So I don't know exactly what that means, but he has written books. So Anthony has written 2 books. He's author of The Smallest Universe and Psalms and Stones and Beautiful Disorder. So it sounds like poetry.
Okay.
So thank you, Anthony, for the information. So he shared that the Heimlich maneuver was actually created by Henry Heimlich from Delaware in 1975.
And he saved 1 billion lives.
Yes, and only a year later, that maneuver was recognized by the American Heart Society for its life-saving technique. So that's like within my lifetime. I was 5 years old when the Heimlich maneuver was invented. I mean, people probably
did that before.
Did different things, but it was never named until that. So I think that's really cool. Delaware has the largest population of horseshoe crabs. I think that's good to know.
They have dinosaurs.
They do. But they think that the horseshoe crabs predated the dinosaurs. I don't know.
Okay.
The blood of these creatures, though, is used by medical researchers to test intravenous drugs, vaccines, and medical devices. That I did not know.
Interesting.
Because when you think about a lab, you think it's usually rats, maybe monkeys.
Mammals, not usually
a horseshoe crab. Yeah. The world's first nylon plant was in Seaford, Delaware. It was invented in 1937 by DuPont chemist Wallace Hume Carruthers.
Okay, so this is, by plant you mean manufacturing facility?
Yeah.
I definitely thought of like a plant.
Oh, like a rubber tree plant?
Yeah, made of nylon. And I was like, that's an interesting thing.
That is where one of the world's most famous fiber was first produced on a large scale. This is just a little interesting tidbit. Delaware has the 9th largest number of millionaires per capita in the United States. That is a little tiny state. So Maryland, New Jersey, and Connecticut have the largest number of millionaires per capita, respectively. Maryland, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
And apparently they like to live over there.
Apparently.
I will not be rich enough to live in those states, I'm going to say. We're down here.
No, we can barely even afford to visit them. So the ladybug is Delaware's state bug, and it has been since 1974 when Ms. Molly Brown Rust's second grade class lobbied for Parliament and lawmakers to crown the humble ladybug their state bug.
That's adorable.
Yes, it took them a full year for it to happen, but the class was successful and had full approval from the lawmakers. I love Ms. Molly Brown Rust's second grade class. I think that's so adorable.
That is so cute.
So Sussex County, where the Millsboro Public Library resides, raises more broiler chicken than any other county in the United States.
Ladybugs and chickens and horseshoe crabs.
My husband works for Gerber, well, used to be Gerber Poultry. It's Miller now, so I don't know. He might find that interesting. I'll have to tell him. It is home to the headquarters of 3 of the top 20 broiler producing companies in the country. So
that's a little state doing a lot of things.
It is. On December 7th, 1787, Delaware became the first state to ratify the Constitution of the United States. The state is also nicknamed the First State. So there's some little fun facts about Delaware.
All right.
Thank you, Anthony Connolly.
Cool. Okay. Like I said, the other new state I have is New Jersey. And I reached out to the Cape May County Library because I went to Cape May on vacation some years back.
Did you visit the library while you were there?
I didn't. I did not.
An egregious mistake. And she'll never, ever do that again.
So Cape May is known as a resort town. We went there in October, and there was a hurricane hanging out off the coast, so it did not feel very resort-like at all. But it's a cute town. Cape May is a very cute little town on the south tip of New Jersey. So the Cape May County Library system celebrated its 100th anniversary last year as well.
Congratulations.
Yeah, which is so fun. We had a great time celebrating our anniversary last year. Cape May City is known as the nation's oldest seashore resort. The county has welcomed numerous U.S. presidents, along with notable cultural figures like my friend Flicka author Mary O'Hara and actor Burgess Meredith. Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, Grant, Arthur, a bunch of presidents have vacationed there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they were born there.
No, they've all vacationed in the resort town. The historic district was designated as a National Historic Landmark in 1976.
But was George Washington there?
They did not say George Washington slept there.
Do you know why?
Because
he never got out of Connecticut.
Exactly. Cape May County continues to inspire artists and entertainment today, serving as a backdrop, and this is what Carissa from Cape May County told me, a backdrop for major film productions like A Complete Unknown and Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. And apparently has some ties to some musicians and celebrities like Taylor Swift. Which is fun.
I've heard of her.
The library itself is housed in the historic Franklin Street School and is a contributing building to the National Register Historic District and a stop on the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail. This town is really cute in that it's very walkable. Mm-hmm. Like, you can go from, like, the historic home of some figure to their downtown shopping area, like, to the beach in, like, 15 minutes walking. Yeah. It's a cute little place, but I was glad to have Carissa respond and reach out to us about Cape May, New Jersey.
Awesome. They
have this beach on the southern tip. It's called Sunset Beach, and it's always super crowded at sunset because you can go out and sit on the beach and watch this beautiful sunset. And just across the bay is Delaware.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
I love sunset on a beach. It's just something very special about it.
So nice there.
So
we
gorgeous.
went and there was the teeniest, tiniest crab I've ever seen in my life on this beach. It was adorable.
So I reached out to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and I talked to the director there.
And that's where Punxsutawney Phil lives.
It is where Punxsutawney Phil
in
lives.
their library.
Well,
No,
I don't think
I'm
so.
making that up.
And her name is Jen Soliday, and she gave me all kinds of fun facts about Groundhog Day, a lot of interesting facts about that, but there's some general knowledge ones too. This, I think, is very interesting. The state of Pennsylvania had the first subscription library in the United States, the Library Company of Philadelphia, and it was founded by Benjamin Franklin, and that was in 1731. She talks about Groundhog Day first. 1886, Groundhog Day first appeared in the local newspaper. The first official Groundhog Day celebration at Gobbler's Knob occurred in 1887. And the original groundhog declared America's weather predicting groundhog by a newspaper editor, Punxsutawney Phil. So he got his name, I'm thinking then at that time. She said that Punxsutawney was officially incorporated as a borough in 1849. The Chevra Aguatis, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this, Achim congregation was founded by the growing Jewish community. I have a really good friend named Ruth who is very fluent in Hebrew, and she's Jewish, and she doesn't listen to this podcast, which is good because she'd be like, oh, friend.
You just butchered that, Jen.
Oh, friend. So,
but
anyhow,
you tried. You tried.
The name Punxsutawney comes from the Lenni Lenape, and this is, I had no idea. It means town of the sandflies. That's what Punxsutawney means.
It should be town of the groundhogs.
It's referencing the biting insects that plagued early settlers. Would you? I don't know. I'm like,
and people stayed despite the sandflies.
The town of sores and boils. Some notable people are Punxsutawney Phil, the central figure in Punxsutawney's annual Groundhog Day celebration.
That's a groundhog, not a people.
He was born in 1887. No, well, I'm just telling you. Britt Baker is a professional wrestler with All Elite Wrestling. Mm-hmm. Chuck Daly is a former Basketball Hall of Fame head coach for Detroit and a head coach of the gold medal winning Dream Team in the 1992 Summer Olympics. Oh. Wilbur Good, a former professional baseball player for the Phillies. Bill Hunter is a retired American shortstop, coach and manager in Major League Baseball. Lloyd Jordan, former head coach at Harvard and College Football Hall of Fame inductee.
Wow. So they have a lot of
back to
athletes.
Ohio there because the Hall of Fame is in Canton, Ohio. Yeah, John Miserach was a former professional baseball player for the Atlanta Braves and Houston Astros. So the history of the Groundhog Day. The first official Groundhog Day celebration took place on February 2nd, 1887 in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. The annual ritual has roots in pre-Christian traditions and was brought to the United States by German immigrants. On February 2nd, 2025, if Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, people in North America would have 6 more weeks of winter. So I don't know if that's just a little something she had at that time because we're in 2026 now. And so that's what they always say.
But I think this year he did see his shadow again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The sun always comes out on February 2nd. So there's always a shadow, and he always goes back in his hole, and we always have
6 more weeks.
12 more weeks of miserable weather.
I just love that, like, this immigrant, pastime is something that they brought here, and they were like, well, they used to do it with some other rodent, but this is what they had in the town of the sandflies.
So every February 2nd, tens of thousands of spectators attend the Groundhog Day events in Punxsutawney.
So do they have more things happening besides here's a rodent and it saw its shadow?
Well, did you ever see the movie Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that was filmed in Woodstock, Illinois, right?
No.
I found that out when I visited my cousin who lived near Woodstock. We actually went and saw where it was filmed. So it's actually, there was the gazebo and everything. It's actually really cool. It cracks me up that it was filmed in Illinois. I don't know why they didn't film it in Punxsutawney, but they didn't. But Punxsutawney, the town itself, is only 6,000 people. So it's kind of like here in Orville when we have fireworks night. You know,
it's just like
so
one
many
day and you
people.
have a bajillion people here.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow it goes back to normal.
Right. Well, yeah. So how accurate are groundhogs? While sunny winter days are indeed associated with colder, drier air, we probably shouldn't trade in our meteorologists for groundhogs just yet. Studies by the National Climatic Data Center and the Canadian Weather Service have yielded a dismal success rate of around 50% for Punxsutawney Phil. So batting 500.
Well,
That's
that
not
just
too
means
bad, I guess.
half the time it's right.
Groundhogs are also known as woodchucks. They grow up to about 25 inches long and live for 10 years in captivity. According to legend, Punxsutawney Phil is more than 139 years old thanks to the magical elixir he imbibes every summer.
There's a whole lore behind the groundhog. I love it.
2 springs ago, Punxsutawney Phil and his wife, Phyllis, welcomed 2 kits, baby groundhogs, to the community. A local contest was held, and the new names were chosen as Sunny and Shadow.
Cute.
I think that's really
Makes
cute.
sense.
So, Punxsutawney Phil and the library. Phil and his wife Phyllis have lived in the corner of the Children's Library at the Punxsutawney Memorial Library since about 1975.
I called it.
It is important to note that while he is housed at the library staff do not take care of Phil.
It's not in the job
Except she
description.
put library staff do not care for Phil. So I'm not sure if she means they're not happy that he's there. They don't care, like, whatever, Phil. He lives in a climate-controlled environment with AC and heat and running water. It is considered a zoo and is therefore inspected regularly by the USDA, much like larger zoos are in the country. The gentlemen in the inner circle must be licensed to handle Phil. They feed him regularly, take him for yearly veterinary visits, and maintain his enclosure. For that reason, they, not the library staff, are Phil's caretakers and maintain his busy schedule of public appearances, press releases, etc. That just cracks me up. He's just
I'm
a
just
rodent.
thinking that we have somebody on staff who used to work at a zoo, so they could like do both.
She'd probably love that.
could
The
do
library staff is authorized to answer general questions about Phil, but for more detailed questions and complaints, we refer them to the Groundhog Club. The library is not compensated for the cost of Phil's water and or electricity, nor for the extra expense brought by tourists to his enclosure, which is water, bathroom supplies, cleaning supplies, etc. Phil and Phyllis's enclosure can be seen, a direct view from the outside of the building 24/7. So they can be spied on all the time. The inside view side is only accessible when the library is open. The inside view is inferior to the outside as the side view is of his burrow. And if he is sleeping in his burrow, he's not visible. Mm-hmm. Phil brings people from all over the world, and it's always interesting to see who is visiting and hear the questions they have about our most famous resident. Most people are interested to find out that unlike the movie, the Groundhog's Day event does not take place in the park in the center of town that the library is adjacent to. It takes place on Gobbler's Knob, a hill overlooking the town about 2 miles away from the library. Phil's handler will come and get him sometime on February 1st and take him to the knob where he will spend the night in the stump awaiting his faithful followers. It's important to note that Phil only predicts the weather. He doesn't control it. So people don't get mad at Phil. He makes his appearances all over town, and he usually doesn't return to the library until sometime on February 3rd. I love it. I don't know. I just love that so much. Groundhogs can be really mean. I know that. Like, real, like, if you have a groundhog at your house, he could hiss at you and just not be very kind.
Sure.
But Phil, I mean, he's living
I'm sure
like
he's
in a
used to being
penthouse.
handled.
Yeah, Phil and Phyllis, and then they have 2 little kids. I don't know where they live. She didn't say, but I'm assuming they don't live with their parents. One of them will probably grow up to be Phil.
Yeah.
I think guess.
I've heard or read that like the current Phil is like a descendant of the.
Oh, I'm sure that they are.
81.
Oh, I'm sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Like, America is so weird sometimes. And I
really
love it.
is.
I love the way we've just like brought things in and been like.
We have a rodent predict the weather and we have a party about it.
Latch on to the rodent predicting the weather, but only one day. And he doesn't control the weather.
Right. And he has a handler.
There's a whole club. There's a whole groundhog club.
Yeah. I know. I love it.
I wonder if you have to be a resident of like the Punxsutawney area in order to be in the groundhog club.
Probably. It's probably very exclusive.
Elite. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we have some things coming up in April. We do have a special announcement we need to make.
We do. So in February, during the weekend of Valentine's Day, we participated in the Great Backyard Bird Count, and we did a bird walk at Johnson Woods. And so Warren, who works for the Ohio DNR, reached out to Jennifer, who coordinated the bird walk, and said, hey, we have this other event. Do you mind sharing it?
What is he with? The
the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources.
Thank you.
On Tuesday, April 14th at 10 in the morning, they will be holding a ceremony at Johnson Woods recognizing a 250-year-old tree that is on the preserve. Since this year is America's 250th, they're celebrating a tree that's been here since the founding.
How do they know? Because I thought you couldn't know until you counted the rings, and you'd have to
I would imagine that because they're smart and they know things about trees, my guess is it has to do with the circumference of the tree and the height, given whatever type of tree it is, that they can estimate the year.
Okay.
That it
because they're
started.
Smart.
Because
and
they're smart and they know these things.
Invited.
The Division of Forestry and the Division of Natural Area and Preserves will be there, and those are divisions under the natural resources. So this event will include some brief remarks from both of those divisions. There will be a hike to the tree and a small ceremony, and then an informal interpretive hike along the remainder of the boardwalk. So that's going to be pointing out different things along the trail.
Oh, I thought it was be interpretive dance.
Yes, we definitely want those guys who are out there in their big boots, in their khaki, dancing along the boardwalk to celebrate the tree.
I might go to that just for that.
Yeah, so that is on Tuesday, April 14th at 10 a.m. at Johnson Woods Preserve.
That's awesome. It's a shame that it's on a Tuesday.
A Tuesday morning. I'm not sure why that worked out.
Yeah.
So they'll do a little thing to recognize the country, to recognize the tree, and a hike. The birdwalk hike was really cool. I don't even know how many birds we actually spotted, but there are a lot of woodpeckers out there. So if you're interested in red-headed woodpeckers, or I think we even saw a downy. There's a bunch of birds out there to check out, and cool stuff.
And old trees. So happening here at the library in the building in April, we have a tadpole watch all month in the children's department. They'll see if the tadpoles become frogs or toads.
Mm-hmm. Oh. So we've done the chrysalis monarch thing, and for the spring we're doing tadpoles.
Wow.
I think it'll be interesting.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool.
Cookbook Club will be meeting on the 6th at 6 p.m. And the book that they are cooking out of is called Brunch Season. It's by Suzanne Vezathan.
Sure.
Vizethann. You can get a copy of that book, and you don't even need to know how to spell the author's last name if you just go to our information desk or the circulation desk.
Preschool Play Lab is continuing, and that will be on Wednesday, April 8th. And the 22nd from 1:30 to 4:30. Again, that's just a drop-in, hands-on activities for kids ages 2 to 5. They are going to have a special play lab on April 29th at 1:30. You do have to register for this one, and you can register it starting on April 15th. And this is for kids specifically entering kindergarten in the fall. They'll have take-home activities to prepare for school.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Book Club will be meeting on Thursday, April 9th. There's 2 sessions, 10 a.m. and 6:30, and they are reading The Little Liar by Mitch Albom, which is something of a historical fiction, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Teens Cook Breakfast is going to happen on Friday, April 10th at 4 p.m. You can eat breakfast anytime. It doesn't have to be in the morning.
Yeah.
And registration is now open for that. How many slots are there for that?
A dozen or so.
You've never been so full that you've had to turn people away.
We haven't, right. There is a registration for that since we are making food. We're going to make eggs and potatoes.
Yum.
Yes. We're going to have a local history event that also will happen on Tuesday, April 14th, but this is at 6 p.m. It's called Orville, A Local Story. So you can come and learn about Orville's patriotic history, and there will be some local historians. I'm sure they wouldn't call themselves historians, but that's what I'm calling them. And then, of course, the historical societies and some other organizations will be here as well.
Pizza and Books is Thursday, April 16th at 4 o'clock. This is for middle school students and their families. They come and they enjoy some activities. They get some pizza, and they all get the kids all get a free book to keep.
That is a program that we've done every year with the Turning Point Coalition. We weren't able to do it last year, but we're coming back strong. So good. It'll be fun.
A speed puzzling contest on Saturday, April 18th at 11 o'clock. Registration is open on April 4th. And so what is today? April?
Yeah, it's like tomorrow, I think, is the registration opens. Yeah.
And sign up is up to teams of 4 individuals.
So each person will sign up, and you just put what team you're on so that we keep everybody together. And that will be fun. And if you win, you get a cool 3D printed trophy.
Those have been really popular. People are loving the speed puzzling.
Yeah. Mystery Mondays will finish with their last meeting of this session on April 20th at 6 p.m. And the theme is Case Solved.
Those have been so much fun. The people that have come to that have loved it.
I'm sure we'll have another session of that.
Something.
Yeah, something like that.
April 23rd through the 25th, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, our used book sale is back. Of course, there's books for all ages. We have DVDs, books on CD, and everything that comes in for that is going to benefit updates that they're going to be doing in the children's department this year.
Yeah.
So come out to the Friends Used Book Sale.
It's going to be a little different this year.
Oh, is the pricing different?
Yeah, the pricing's going to be a little different this year. And usually what we've done is $1 per item. And then the last chance is kind of like fill up a bag or a box. Yeah. This year we're going to do things by donation.
Okay.
And we'll have a goal to reach, but all of the proceeds from that we'll use towards some things in the children's department.
Awesome. And please come and do that, because it's a lot of work to set up for the books. And then if we don't sell a lot, then you got to box all that back up. So we want you to come and get them a donation. Yeah. A lot of people, that works out really well sometimes. Some people are so generous with donations. And so,
and then, if you come and you've only got $1 and you want to get a couple of things, you can just use your $1.
That's exactly right.
So it makes it fun for everybody. So this will be our spring book sale. And if you do happen to miss it, you'll have to wait around until like September for our next one. Although we do always have like the shelves downstairs,
and
but
the red cart upstairs.
Don't have as much options.
Right. You don't have boxes and boxes of books available to you.
All right. So lots of stuff happening in April. Come see a tadpole. Come read a book or learn something about Orville history.
Right. And you can always ask Dawn or myself about our library cards that we've been receiving too. Eventually we're going to display them in some format. We just have not landed on how we're doing that yet.
Right.
So hopefully by the end of the year we will. So thanks again, everybody that listens, and thank you especially to all of the libraries that have helped us out. It really means a lot, and we're having so much fun learning all these facts. So we will see you guys soon.